What's going on, guys? Pete with Auto Repair Tips, working on a 2010 Nissan Cube. And I'm pretty sure most of you agree like me, this is one ugly car. I just pretty much can't see myself riding around in a car that looks like this. But needless to say, they need repairs like anything else. The guy brought the car to the dealership, and let me show you what the dealership said. He needed some work done. Says it needs some exhaust work for $700. It needs 2 tires for $400. A full wheel alignment for $130. Front control arm replacement, $893. A drive belt for $131. Spark plugs for $397. Clean and adjust rear brakes. They're out of adjustment for $139. Guys, that's about $2,800 worth of repairs. So he took it from the dealer and brought it to me and asked me to go over this list and see exactly what it needs, and if it does need everything, can I at least beat that price? So I tell you what, let's start off with a test drive and let's see what this thing does. Right off the bat, I don't see any check engine light. I do see a tire pressure light. And if these things have a misfire, well, you know as well as I do, it's going to pop a code. It's got good pep. No doubt. I do hear some clunking in the front end. We'll see what that is. He's got some exhaust work on that list also. I can hear the exhaust rattling, so let's see what that is. I'm pretty sure y'all can hear that too. All right, let's get this thing back. Let's get it up on the lift and let's see what we got. All right, one of the things on the list was tires. It says it needed tires. So let's take a measurement on these tires and see where we're at. We are at 3/32 on that one. 3/32 here. 2/32 on the outer tread. So they just barely passed state inspection. State inspection here is 2/32. So it is just about out. I mean, technically it could use some tires. If not now, it's going to need them in about 6 months. That's 3/32 here. 3/32 and 2/32. So we're definitely going to go with a set of front tires. I do agree to that. It definitely needs tires. The back looked good. All right, let's get it up in the air and let's check out the rest of it. All right, they said it needed the exhaust from the cat back. So this is your catalytic converter. This is behind the converter. This is your pipe coming off that. This is your muffler. Here's where it bolts in at. Technically speaking, it looks to me it's just like it's just rusted right here. Nothing else looks bad. So I'm pretty sure we can repair that. So we're not going to replace the whole system from the cat back. We're going to repair the pipe and put a flange back on it. All right, not sure if you can see this, but if you look right up in here, you can see the cracks in the rip in that lower rear, in that bushing. This is the left front. And on the right front, it's got the same issues. So the lower control arms, the rear bushings on each one, they're cracked and ripped. So that's legit too. So far, pretty much everything's been on point that the dealership has recommended, except for the tune-up. I don't really see it needing a tune-up, but we'll check that next. All right, let's get this cover off and let's take a look at them spark plugs. Get in there, buddy. All right. Pop off the cover. held on with 10 millimeters, just 2 of them. And let's see what's under this. I'm not going to pull the intake off and check these plugs because I don't want to take a chance of messing up any seals. It ran really good, so what I'll do is put my scanner on it and we'll go to misfire data and see if there's any misfires that way. All right, so what we got is a 2010 Nissan Cube. All right, ding ding now. That's one of the things I don't like about this Edge, called the Verus Edge. It's slow. It's a Windows-based program and it's just slow. All right, engine. Let's look at data. Data engine 1. Noisy as mess in here today. Trains and grinders and every damn thing else. Where are you hiding that data from yet? Alright, got the engine started up. Let's look at some of this data and let's see how it's running. RPM's 1150. The mass airflow is at 4.3. The fuel's 3. O2 bank 1 running a little bit lean. Let's let it run for a second. See if that changes. Engine's at 131 degrees. Let's let it warm up just a little bit more and let's see if we have any changes over here. As it's warming up, the RPMs are going down. That's what it should do. When you first start it and it's cold, your RPMs are going to be higher. See, every time I start a video, this guy right here has got to bring out grinders and things and make stuff fit. That's all right. Like I said before, making noise is money. No noise, no money, right, Bob? All right, we're at about 920 on the RPMs, up and down on that a little bit. Airflow is still sitting here at 3.3. Everything's looking pretty good. They most likely recommended plugs because of the miles. Let's do a power balancer test. All right, let's select an injector. All right, that's working. After looking at the readings, I don't see any reason to change those plugs. And then after doing the power balancer test, they all had equal misfire across every cylinder. All right, so we're not gonna do the plugs. That's off the list. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and get it up in the air, check the rear brakes. That's the last thing on the list. Tell you what, one thing about mixing a body shop and a mechanic shop, you have a lot of noise. Get this tire off here and check these rear brakes out. Looking at the brakes, not too bad, not too bad. Could use a little adjusting. Should be like self-adjusters on this, but I guess they may not be working correctly. Let me get a screwdriver and check it out. You know, a lot of times when you pull, this should be like self-adjusting, especially you can either pull the emergency brake or sometimes go in reverse. But it may not be working correctly. It seems to be spinning thing. All right. Move it out just a little bit and let's see what happens. Went a tad too far. Let's go back with it now just a little bit. Let's try that. There you go. One brake adjusted. They were a little bit out of adjustment, but as a courtesy check, I'll just adjust them for free. I'm not going to charge the customer for 2 minutes worth of work, but we'll get the other side adjusted also. And then we're going to charge $130, I believe $137 to do that. That's just crazy. A lot of times when we're doing stuff for people, if we're doing other repairs and it's something small like this, I don't charge for stuff like this. Just good customer relations in my opinion. But my family's been doing this at this location for over 76 years. so that might explain why. There you go. All right guys, after comparing notes, the dealership is pretty much on point, except for the spark plugs. So what I'm gonna do is get an estimate up, we'll compare prices and see who's cheaper. Catch you in a bit. All right guys, after going over the list, the 3 things that were adjusted is the rear brakes I did for no charge. It took 10 minutes of my time, and the customer's spending money everywhere else, so that's a courtesy more or less. We're not gonna do spark plugs. I checked them, they're fine. Looked at the computer readings, everything looked great. And the serpentine belt, when I checked it, there's nothing wrong with it. They even have fair condition, but it's in good shape. There's no cracks, no frays, looks good and tight. Everything else we're gonna do. So if I subtract those things off, it's about $2,133 worth of parts and labor from the dealership. And the repairs we're gonna do compared to the dealership is right about $1,400. So we're able to save them about $700. And the biggest savings is the control arms, naturally. These are the control arms going on the car. They came from O'Reilly's, and O'Reilly's is not a sponsor of this video. They're just where these parts came from, and that's what's going on the car. They're a really good quality part. I've used them before, and I've had no issues. All right guys, so let's get them on the car. All right guys, the lower control arm has a bolt that runs through the ball joint here, and it is held on with a 14 mil. The new control arm does come with new bolts, so can knock this one right on out. Let me get me a swivel on that. Gotta spin it, break it loose a little bit. Once I spun it, it broke it loose inside. I was able to knock it out. Now we'll just get a little punch on it, knock it out the rest of the way. Bingo. They're not normally reusable, that's why you get a new set. That's a 17 mil, and the front one over here is a 22 mil. You're gonna have to get a wrench on the top side and hold the nut. All right, let's see, can I get the front one out? I'm gonna try and cheat a little bit without moving all the splash shields. Put a little wrench on this side and pull out as you do it. Makes it easy. All right, that is loose. Now we're just gonna knock it loose, the ball joint loose. And again, it doesn't matter if you mess up the ball joint or not, because the new one comes with it. We're not gonna play. There you go. She's rusted up in there. So if you get one that's rusted up in there, just take a little chisel and you can separate it just a little bit, kind of help out. There you go. Skill level on this, definitely doable at home. And if you do it at home yourself, you're gonna save yourself even more money. All right. Make sure when you're doing it, don't forget to grease it. Comes with new grease fittings. when you're going back with it, there's a groove right here. And this bolt will rest just like this. So sometimes you gotta wiggle it around a little bit. You just gotta make sure you don't screw up the threads. There you go. Get your alignment tool, your punch. Go down the bottom side. Get it started. Get your nut back on the top one. Super easy project, guys. All right, we're going to tighten up the rear one, if I can find it. There you go. Get your wrench on it. Boom. Good and tight. Let's get this. Go ahead and get the lower ball joint. All right, the new nut's a little bit bigger than the last one. The new one came with a 15, it looks like, which is fine. They beefed it up a little bit. Yeah, come on, baby. You're gonna make me go all the way on this one, ain't you? That's all right. We got her now. You're on the home stretch. What the hell? 13 is the magic number. Make sure you grease the fitting. That's tight. That's tight. All right, guys, that's it for this side. It's a rinse and repeat for the right side. When that's done, I'm gonna get the exhaust taken care of. I'm gonna get the tires, take it out to my son-in-law at First Team Kia. He's gonna do a four-wheel alignment, mount and balance the tires. We'll get it back here, call the customer up, and this job is done. All right, guys, appreciate you watching. Catch you later.